AFP news agency says President Patrice Talon is safe and the army is regaining control following earlier reports of a military takeover. A group of soldiers on Sunday announced on the country's state television that they had seized power. The attempted takeover is said to have begun in the early hours of Sunday with an attack on President Patrice Talon's residence in the capital, Porto Novo. The group, which calls itself the military...
Benin woke up to a whisper, small, quiet, barely noticeable but powerful enough to shake the entire region. Reports of sudden tension inside the military sparked a wave of fear across West Africa. Institutions rushed to respond, allies held their breath, and for a moment, no one knew which direction the country would turn. This is the story of how a nation stood on the edge and pulled itself back.
It began as a whisper inside national institutions, the kind of faint disturbance that usually dissolves long before it reaches the public. But in Benin, a country known for its relative stability in a region often shaken by political turbulence, that whisper swelled into a wave of concern. Reports surfaced of unusual movements within segments of the military, not overt or dramatic, but tense enough to ignite nationwide unease. The speculation spread quickly, stirring conversations across government offices, local communities, and regional partners who watched Benin not just as a neighbor, but as a critical pillar in West Africa's democratic landscape. In the early hours of the unfolding tension, institutions moved cautiously. Officials monitored the situation with a mixture of vigilance and urgency, aware that even a hint of unrest could reverberate across borders. Economic observers worried about the impact on trade routes, especially with Benin serving as an essential commercial corridor for several landlocked states. Social analysts warned that the fear alone could divide communities, even without any confrontation. Political strategists noted that the stakes were higher than ever, as neighboring countries had recently faced their own internal pressures, leaving the region on edge. As reports of internal military friction circulated, international organizations sought clarification. They issued careful statements, expressing confidence in Benin's long-standing commitment to stability while quietly urging restraint. Within Benin, supporters of the government rallied, not in the streets, but through coordinated institutional responses. Civic groups communicated with regional bodies to ensure accurate information was shared. Financial institutions prepared contingency plans, concerned that markets might react sharply if uncertainty lingered. Every sector felt the pressure, from agriculture to technology, each bracing for disruptions that could emerge if the situation continued to escalate. Despite the tension, no graphic confrontations emerged. Instead, the crisis unfolded through silent standoffs, whispered conversations, and strategic meetings behind closed doors. Military leadership held internal dialogues to assess the underlying concerns creating friction. Analysts pointed to economic strains affecting military infrastructure, social pressures stemming from rapid demographic shifts, and political debates around governance reforms. None of these issues alone could spark a major rupture, but combined, they created an atmosphere heavy with possibility. Across the region, neighboring countries watched closely. West African alliances exchanged intelligence, seeking to determine whether the unrest could ripple outward. Some feared that any instability in Benin could disrupt cross-border cooperation against illicit trafficking. Others worried about trade interruptions, given Benin's role as a coastal gateway. Regional economic communities held emergency consultations, acknowledging that even temporary uncertainty in Benin could send shockwaves through supply chains essential for millions of people. Inside Benin, civilian institutions intensified their efforts to calm public concerns. Communications agencies issued steady updates, emphasizing that national structures remained intact. Cultural organizations hosted dialogues encouraging unity and trust in the country's institutions. Educational institutions organized public forums to help young people understand the context of the unrest without succumbing to fear. Each of these actions helped maintain cohesion during a moment when anxiety could easily have fractured the national mood. International observers offered support through diplomatic channels, reassuring Benin that cooperation remained strong. Development partners emphasized that ongoing economic programs would continue without disruption. Humanitarian organizations coordinated with local authorities to ensure that essential services would remain stable, even if political uncertainty persisted. These expressions of solidarity strengthened Benin's institutional resolve and signaled to the world that the country was not facing the situation in isolation. As tensions continued, the turning point arrived through coordinated engagement between military institutions and national authorities. Dialogues intensified, focusing on structural concerns, operational needs, and broader questions about national direction. Rather than allowing suspicion to fester, institutions confronted the underlying issues head-on. Economic discussions centered on improving resource distribution. Social debates addressed community relations and national cohesion. Political conversations examined how governmental reforms could better respond to emerging challenges. This collective approach paid off. Gradually, the internal tension began to ease. Military units reaffirmed their commitment to the nation's constitutional order, while government institutions pledged to strengthen ongoing reform efforts. The brief but intense period of uncertainty had illuminated weaknesses in communication and resource management, giving all involved a clearer understanding of what needed to change. Supporters of the government praised the peaceful resolution, highlighting how national unity had prevailed during a critical moment. The crisis, though ultimately contained, sent ripples across the international community. Neighboring countries expressed relief, noting that Benin's stability was vital not only for the region's political landscape, but also for its economic network. International organizations released assessments describing the event as a reminder of the delicate balance within West African governance structures. They emphasized the importance of strong institutions, transparent communication, and collaboration between civilian and military sectors. Within Benin, reflection became a national theme. Academic institutions launched studies analyzing how the unrest developed and what lessons could prevent future crises. Strategic planning councils reviewed defense structures, governance frameworks, and economic strategies to ensure that vulnerabilities were addressed. Financial experts examined how market confidence had wavered and recovered, offering recommendations for bolstering economic resilience in future moments of uncertainty. Civic groups highlighted how public trust played a crucial role in preventing panic, showing that unity could serve as a stabilizing force even in tense moments. The events also reshaped social conversations. Communities discussed the importance of understanding national institutions and recognizing the pressures they face. Media organizations evaluated their role in reporting sensitive developments responsibly, ensuring that information informed rather than inflamed public sentiment. Cultural leaders emphasized the value of collective identity, reminding citizens that Benin's strength had always come from its shared commitment to peace and cooperation. One of the most significant outcomes of the crisis was the renewed regional dialogue it sparked. West African alliances convened new forums to discuss institutional resilience. Countries shared experiences, challenges, and strategies for maintaining stability amid economic shifts, social changes, and political debates. International organizations supported these efforts, framing Benin's experience as part of a larger continental narrative of strengthening democratic systems. Economically, the incident encouraged reforms in several areas. Trade authorities examined how uncertainty affected key sectors, particularly transportation and logistics. Agricultural networks assessed how temporary fear impacted food distribution. Technology experts evaluated how digital infrastructure performed during the tense moments, using the findings to propose upgrades that would strengthen communication between national institutions. These reforms underscored Benin's determination not only to recover, but to become even more resilient. Politically, the event led to renewed discussions about governance transparency. Institutions debated how information should be shared with the public during sensitive periods. Lawmakers explored ways to ensure that all branches of government could respond quickly and effectively to emerging concerns. Civil society groups participated in consultations, ensuring that reforms reflected the needs and expectations of citizens across all regions of the country. Socially, the crisis sparked a deeper understanding of the interconnected forces shaping national stability. Demographic changes, economic pressures, and regional dynamics all played a role in creating the moment of unrest. By acknowledging these complexities, Benin positioned itself to navigate future challenges with greater awareness and foresight. Educational campaigns emphasized civic responsibility, encouraging citizens to stay informed and engaged in national affairs. By the time the situation fully stabilized, the sense of relief was palpable. Institutions across Benin, military, governmental, economic, social, and cultural, had worked together to prevent the crisis from escalating. Their coordinated efforts became a model for how a nation could face uncertainty not with panic, but with deliberate, united action. The final outcome was a reaffirmation of Benin's identity as a nation grounded in dialogue, cooperation, and resilience. For the region, the message was equally significant. Benin's ability to withstand internal pressure without descending into chaos demonstrated the importance of strong institutions and regional solidarity. Neighboring countries and international organizations took note, recognizing that the lessons learned in Benin could offer guidance during future crises elsewhere. In the end, the sudden unrest became more than a national challenge. It became a defining moment in Benin's modern history. The country confronted uncertainty, held firm, and emerged stronger. The coordinated response showcased the power of unity and the importance of institutional strength. What began as a whisper of tension became a testament to the country's ability to safeguard its stability, even at the most critical moments. And as the nation moved forward, it carried with it a renewed sense of purpose, stability, and confidence in its future.